When I wrote my first book, I spent all the money on producing the book. So even though it was a book on doing big ideas for marketing, I forgot to save any money to market the book. I should have seen that coming. So all of a sudden it occurred to me, what would happen if I used the methods in the book to market the book? So this is a kind of a simple method. I said to myself, okay, what's obvious about books? Well, at the time, they were sold in bookstores. And then I said, well, what's obvious about bookstores? Well, bookstores have thousands and thousands of books. They're getting bigger and bigger. So I did the opposite, and I went to 0 books, but I couldn't figure out what to do with that. So I ticked it back 1, and I opened a 1-book bookstore for my book. Thousands of copies of my book, only my book, in the bookstore. I called the store Redundant. The bookstore that repeats itself repetitively and tautologically and over again. So now one of the things about having a big idea is once you do your opposite, what you want to do is put it back into the context of the original. If you put it back into the context of the original, then it'll make your idea even stand out more. So I went right to the bookstores and I decided to copy everything else that they did. For example, one of the things they had was a lot of departments. Okay, now you notice this is my bookstore, and I had 13 different departments. My book being the only book in every department: art, anthropology, fiction and literature, psychology, self-help, sports, religion, business, travel. Now, these other stores also had great customer service. Oh, by the way, let me say one more thing about this. We measured everything, and over 50% of the books were sold from the psychology self-help section. So they had great customer service, so I had to copy that too. And so what I did was, here's our policy. If for any reason you're not satisfied with your book, it'll be cheerfully exchanged for any other book in the whole store, your choice. Now these stores had top 10 bestseller lists, so I had a top 10 bestseller list. My book was number 1, and number 2, and number 3, and number 4, and number 5. Also, these bookstores did a lot of target marketing based on demographics, so I did target marketing too. I put up this sign. Shoplifters have feelings too. So, my bookstore, without me making a phone call, contacting anybody, got me in front of 50 million people just on the strength of the idea. I got into People magazine, I got on national television, I got on national public radio, I got in the front pages of sections of major newspapers, I even got on the BBC, all from this stupid idea. And by the way, one of the people I was working with said, oh, don't put that sign up, they're going to come in here and steal you blind. But they were wrong, because what happened actually is nobody ever stole a book, regardless of all this publicity. But when the People magazine article appeared, somebody walked in and stole the sign. Now, if a stupid idea like this can actually get implemented quickly, then can you imagine this being done, trying to do something like this inside of a company? It would never happen, okay? But what happens to the good ideas? These days, you can't even implement a good idea inside a company, an idea that's worth implementing. So, let's look at a couple ideas. Have you ever walked into a shower, turned on the water, and had this cold, clammy shower curtain move over to your naked, half-drowsy body? Oh my God, it wants to cuddle. Well, then you're going to appreciate an invention, the curved shower curtain rod. You find it in hotel bathrooms. And yet why did it take 100 years to get this done. Now, you've heard the term, the greatest thing since sliced bread, right? Did you know that the guy who invented the bread slicer, it took him 15 years to sell his invention to anybody? Okay? And the minivan, General Motors had that idea before Chrysler. But somebody in a meeting, you can imagine the meeting, oh, this is going to kill our station wagon business. And you know what it did? They were right. It killed their station wagon business, but it was Chrysler who took the idea and made millions off of it. So, these are all good ideas. Why does it take forever to get them done? It's kind of like this. You ever been in a meeting where it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock? So, I want to show you why ideas die. Core nature. Now, there are 3 core natures who are going to kill ideas. Okay? And they do it because it's natural for them. They're going to kill any idea. There's a person, 35% of the people, who are going to kill ideas because they like to come up with their own ideas. So it's not my idea, we don't like it. 25% of the people see too many things wrong with it, too many flaws. So if you have that core nature of an improver, that's going to be your reason for killing ideas. 25% of the people, they like to do the details. If you're that kind of a person, you're going to kill an idea because it's not the way it's been done. It's too disruptive to the system. So the better the idea, the deader the idea. So 15% of the people is our hope. Now, all these people mean well. They should be working together, but instead they argue. Instead, they kill ideas. This 15% of the people, you've seen it before. It's the people who put everything together. They take an idea, they set priorities, they pick the best idea, they set a plan, and they run with it. We need these people to get ideas done. So, how do you find your core nature? What we're talking about here is 2 different things. One, of course, it's your ability. What are you good at? But there's another piece to it, which is your affinity, okay? What do you love? You've got to be good at it, and you've got to love it. And if you put those together, it's your core work nature. So, now, think about this like a remote, okay? If you look a little bit closer, the buttons of the remote are very much like our core natures. There's an ideator, that's me. Loves to come up with ideas, loves to solve problems. There's an initiator. This is a person I was just talking about, the 15%, loves to grab an idea, loves to run with it. There's a person who's an improver. This is a person who can see around corners to tell you what's going to go wrong with an idea. Then there's a person called an implementer. This is the person who does the details. They don't even want to be in the meeting. Just check with me later, will you please? And they don't like ideas because they're disruptive to the system, but they can make that idea a reality. We need all of us together. Now, if you look at those and put them together, notice that the biggest conflicts come between the ideators and the improvers. Okay, but if you put them together, you can do some amazing things. This was my one-book bookstore, and I'm the ideator. A friend of mine was the initiator, and he actually got the place. He got the truck. He got all the fixtures. He got this idea done, and finally he said, and besides, my girlfriend Robin, she's not doing anything for the next 2 months. She'll work in your bookstore for free. Okay. So she ran the store, and this is how it works. Now, one of the things that happens is there's a big conflict between the improvers, as I said, and the ideators. Improvers going to say, you can't do this. So they'll say, oh, yeah, it's illegal in 18 states. We can't do that. And then the initiator takes this objection, keeps these 2 apart, takes the objection, gives it to the ideator, and says, can you solve this problem? And the ideator says, yeah, if it's illegal in 18 states, doesn't that mean it's legal in 32? Why don't we launch in the 32? We'll have a 50. Then lobby in the 18. Laws change. We'll have a 50-state rollout. So we've seen the effect that this has on ideas. But how about the effect on you? Even the most brilliant of us sometimes feel stupid, feel like they're going to fail. You know, all of us are some percentage genius and some percentage idiot when we're in our weaknesses. The way we work today guarantees that every one of us is going to take a trip through their idiot zone. And time again, a repeated trip through the idiot zone. And you know what? That's just too destructive. If you're a round peg in a square hole, squareness training is not going to help. The world has more challenges probably than ever before. And so what we need to do is put the right people in the right place, doing the right things. We need the best minds on the worst problems. If we want to change the world, we've got to change the way we work. Michael Hammer said it best. We move into the 21st century with the 19th century work model. This must change. Because if it doesn't, the better the idea, the deader the idea. Thank you.